So, some pretty helpful clues if you're fairly observant, especially when it comes to the wall opposite of the clock. The game really points you in the right direction for the clock riddle. Interesting thing to point out about that door, and any locked door for that matter, is you actually have to have your flashlight on or it won't open. James has problems unlocking things in the dark. Oh. You hear that? Pulsating ambience. Oh. And of course, moths. The room glows red. Silent Hill red. The body of a dead butterfly is on the ground. There's nothing else of interest here. I'm happy I don't listen to you, James. Holy shit, you see that in the top right corner? There's a drawing of a butterfly or a moth. That's so cool. It's too dark to tell for sure, but I think there's something on the other side of the hole. You couldn't get me to put my hand in there if you paid me $1 million. Got the clock key. Awesome. Oh, what's that green shit on the wall there? What the hell is that? Butterfly cages. Pictures of butterflies. Books of butterflies. Obviously, moths and butterflies are significant symbols in Silent Hill. Symbols of death and rebirth. More cages. What a room. I love how the ambience gets super intense whenever you walk into the butterfly room. Health drink in the typical location. Some more of that Silent Hill red emanating from mysterious locations. The moths disperse when you turn the flashlight off. Oh, that's awesome. What a room. Shit. Bob and weave. Whew. Whew. Taking a couple hits there. Home sweet home. The familiar sounds of static and creepy ambience. James still chilling over there in his chair. And if we shine the flashlight on this wall here, you can see the markings pointing you in the right direction. Henry Mildred Scott. Hours, minutes, seconds. Stopped at 10:44 in 15 seconds. The faceplate is closed. It is locked. I can't touch the needles of the clock like this. Well, that's what the clock key is for. Let's examine this sucker. Oh, that's awesome. There's like a miniature clock on the key itself. It's really cool. Use the clock key. Alright, so now we need to manually adjust the hands Oops. Ah, click. There we go. Riddle number 1, solved. Ah, yeah. There is writing on the clock. The scars from the past shall remove the nail that stops time. Time capitalized. All the details in this game. It's really something to behold. Alright, onward. Okay. So this room, like many others in the game, has its own unique wallpaper. Seems to be of the floral variety. Other than that, there's not much to point out in this room. We have our exit over here, our save point, and yes, our health drink in the typical kitchen area. Speaking of drinks, I'm gonna get one myself. Okay. I think we're ready to roll out here. The thing about the floral wallpaper, to me, is that it's always a symbol of Mary in my mind because of her dress with the flowers on it. It just reminds me of Mary. And if we walk over here with our flashlight on, you can hear the monsters kind of congregating, you know, they're gathering and moving towards us. You know, the monsters are obviously drawn to the light like a moth to the flame. Pretty fitting analogy there, considering the room that we were just in. And speaking of the flashlight attracting the monsters, I'm going to try to use the flashlight minimally in this next segment because of the danger ahead. It can be quite treacherous here, especially if you're trying to go toe-to-toe with these guys, which we're not. Squeeze by. Sweet. Awesome. Okay. Lights on. Alright, so Pyramid Head pretty much fucking with us there. I like to think his strange hand gestures are his way of saying, I see you in there, James. There's our courtyard key. Essential. So this room, the first thing to note is the pictures on the wall, along with, obviously, its own unique wallpaper, which is, to me, more ominous in this room than the last room we were in, with its own unique wallpaper and the save point. This portrait, it looks like a landscape of this area. This painting, rather. You can see the cloud formations in the background with the what looks to be a setting or rising sun. The dark clouds and the sun really reminds me of just light versus dark. And this one, some kind of strange landscape. I cannot tell what that is. That's weird, you know, in the bottom right corner there, it almost looks like the exact same pattern as the wallpaper. That's weird. That's a weird picture. I have no idea what that painting is. These look like pictures of trees with that eerie sunlight in the background. Landscape of this area. Landscape of this area. Yeah. The contrast. The dark trees and the sunlight in the backdrop. It really reminds me of the classic light versus dark scenario. Oh, yeah, and here's the unfortunate mannequins that were being seemingly sexually abused by Pyramid Head. Here's the one he was dry humping on the kitchen counter. Yikes. I think this door's locked. Yeah. Alright. Pretty creepy room. It's time to make a break for it. We need to get to the opposite side here. Oh, yeah, and this is the area that we couldn't get past earlier. We were trying to stretch our arm through the bars to pick up the key, and Laura, the little girl, kind of came out of nowhere, stepped on her hand and kicked the key out of reaching distance. Out of reach. Another room that just has tons of graffiti and pictures on it. Not much to note. The monsters were just kind of creeping up on me there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Does this look familiar at all to you guys? I feel like the interior of this building is almost identical to the apartment building we were just in, the one adjacent to us. But the little details, the graffiti on the walls, the pictures that are stapled or stuck to the walls. Do you remember that area that I pointed out earlier that I really liked with all the graffiti and strange pictures all over the walls? Well, it's not in this building, but the general design is almost identical. Oh, canned juice, of course. One of the strangest items I've ever seen in a video game. It's just bizarre. Bizarre yet useful. Okay, I want to take a good look around this room, and take note of the design of this room because we're about to go back to the other apartment building I was just talking about. The general design should really be pretty much the same, but the little details are different. It's really weird. Let's go. Now it's unlocked. So if we had come here before picking up the keys from the upstairs, we'd be trapped. And we'd have to backtrack. Looking familiar, huh? Okay, let's run across and get back to that familiar territory. Oh, and let me walk down this alley as well. Do you recall how there was nothing here? There's still nothing here, but after this next segment, there's going to be something in that trash chute. Pretty interesting stuff. Boom. You notice how the general design is pretty much the exact same? Oh, let's grab the map over here. Not that I really require it, but I got a map of the apartment building. Good for you, James. Okay. Let's save.